back to the Chiefs pit. Richie Petty, Mark Petty, Timmy Petty. And we got a special guest in the house. We have Travis Owens. And then Timmy's going to take over.
Okay, so Travis is our Aunt Linda's nephew. And your daddy was Randy Garland Owens.
Yep.
And Randy worked here. I don't know what year Randy started here, and that probably don't matter. But Randy tragically lost his life in May of 1975.
Yep.
What year was you born?
72.
So Travis was just a baby, and matter of fact, we've loved Travis since he was a baby. So that's how long I've known him. But anyway,
Well, even though Travis is not blood kin to us, we always considered him as a first cousin to
yeah,
us.
yeah, he's pretty much our cousin by whatever means you want to get there. But anyhow, so to go further with that, when I was a little kid, and Randy and Barry Dotson was part of the weekend warrior guys, who would usually drive separately from the main brigade of a race team that would go either Thursday or Friday or Wednesday sometimes, back in the day. But I would ride my bike over here, and wasn't supposed to, by the way.
Yeah.
But I'd ride over here and always be out there in the parking lot, and then Barry and Randy would come out there and give me a fit, and pick on me like they always did. You know how to. Anyhow, but that was some of my good memories of Randy. And another one that comes to mind, Daddy had that Travco camper that we've talked about in some other, and we actually spent the night out there on the dam because they were going to drain that pond. And when we first got over that evening, Randy was out there in some kind of old, fishing boots with overalls and all, and he was actually mired up and couldn't get out. And Uncle Richard was out there, and he called him Magoo or something, Mr. Magoo. That was one of his nicknames. Yeah. So
this was at Richard's Pond.
yes, and like I said, they were draining it for some reason. I guess they were getting ready to restock or
fixing the dam,
whatever. But didn't y'all have some?
Well, I just when the same episode there, that was my last memories of Randy. I was 4 or 5 years old, and I can remember him being down there at the pond, messing around that mud in a John boat or something. And anyway, there was a snake episode, because you got to remember, I'm 4 or 5 years old, so my memories are really vague. But I do remember him. They were shooting at a snake or something that got up there.
And he was stuck. And he couldn't go nowhere.
Yeah. So it was a big deal. And then I do remember I'm telling you, that was the week of before he got killed, and then I can remember the week after and how that affected the whole family. I mean, it put us all in shock. And as a little kid, I didn't really know what was going on, but I can remember Mom and Dad really upset, and I know Aunt Linda, she was in shock.
The whole family.
Oh, it was
terrible.
terrible. Yeah, no, it was terrible.
Absolutely.
So, did you have any memories of that?
Don't really have a lot of memories, Randy. I do kind of remember.
Kind of like you. I mean,
I
y'all
might
was
remember
babies.
everybody talking about him being marred up in the mud or stuff, but my memories are more me and Travis close to the same age.
Right.
Was my mom and Jan taking turns picking us up from school.
Right.
That's right.
And we were in
That's
first
right.
or second grade.
I mean, you're probably the closest
Yeah.
in age out of all.
And then there was, y'all moved off to South Carolina at some
Yeah.
point, and we kind of grew apart. But when
Yeah.
you and Trent started coming up in the summers
Yeah,
and working up at the Richards place,
Yeah.
yeah.
and then we was fortunate to all work
Well,
on the team
and
together.
I about forgot about this. My ties with Randy runs through my father-in-law. My father-in-law, Ricky McPherson.
Yes.
They were best of friends.
Played baseball together.
Yeah,
Went
so
to Boy Scouts together.
right.
Yeah.
So they grew up and they was best of friends, and that was before, I knew Ricky and all that. But as time went on, he started helping us with our race, and so he gave us a lot of stories about Randy. So it was almost
Rick
like
was with us a bunch.
Yeah, I remember.
so that there's
when y'all were
there's a
park
different
racing
connection
stuff.
for us. So
Yeah,
And he thought the world of Randy.
Good.
So yeah.
I remember. I think I went to one of these kids or something. We'd go over there or something before we moved. Like I said, moved to.
well, I got pictures of you over at Teresa's birthday party or
Yeah.
something. So
That was Richie's wife.
Yeah.
That's around Richie's wife.
back when 4 or 5 years old, right? So anyway,
Well, going back even further, I played the only year I ever played Pee Wee football, whatever it was. I was Mustard Brammer was my coach, and we I had the Colts uniform like Johnny Unitas, the whole deal, and I wasn't worth a crap, by the way. But they took us camping. All the little football teams went to WOW down there in Randleman.
Yep.
And there's like a
That's
mountain and
Werfel.
all. Werfel, yeah. And see, you're local, you're old Kirkman and all that stuff. So, yeah. But anyway, was out there camping, and I'd never been camping in my life. And a lot of them boys was taking that old grapevine and cutting it, and you smoke grapevine. I'd never seen it done before that. It was weird. I don't think there's no substance to it, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So anyway,
But Randy was there. Randy was out there camping. I don't know if he was probably older and wasn't playing football, but it was a camp.
Yeah.
And I just remember just lighting up because Randy was there. You know what I mean? It was just
now,
cool.
Mom and Dad years ago they bought a beach house at Holden Beach, and
Your grandfather.
they've had it.
Leonard.
It's been in the family for 60 years, but Travis's grandfather and his daddy went down there and put the cabinets in that house for them back in 1970, and then we still have it to this day in our family. And every time I see them cabinets, I go in there, I think of Randy and I think of Mr. Owens.
Yes. We always called your granddad Mr. Owens.
Yeah, a lot of people call him Mr.
And he was.
Yeah.
I just remember him in the shop. We'll talk about Mr. Owens' son.
Yeah.
That he would he'd be smoking them little. I don't. Did he have cigarettes with kickstands?
Oh, I don't remember.
His was non-filtered.
That's what I say. It was like a Lucky Strike or
He-
Camel or
But
something.
he was a
Carpenter.
carpenter by
Yes,
trade.
yeah,
and
cabinet maker.
his
Cabinet maker.
Retirement. He worked up here at the shop
Forever.
What?
But you walk in there and all you
How long?
smell is sawdust and
And
cigarettes.
then he retired. He ran the
They-
car
yep,
wash.
the car wash
Who's
and-
got the car wash?
Mark Petty
Me
and
and
Justin.
Yeah.
All roads lead back to each other. So
What toolbox was in there?
Mr. Owens' toolbox,
I'll be
which
darned.
was probably Randy's.
well,
Yeah.
No, you got
it.
Randy's
I got
toolbox.
Randy's,
Okay.
Do you?
Yeah.
That's cool. That's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
so anyway, we're going to move on because the tragedy of Randy's death affected the whole family, and that changed the course a lot about the racing. And we're going to get into Travis's trying to follow in his dad's footsteps through the racing. When was your first
Racing
memories
gig.
of getting into racing,
Of getting into racing?
or just being like on
Well, I
the
like
actual?
going to a race team.
Yeah, your earliest mememories of races.
Give us a little history on Travis.
There's
Yeah.
all this memory of races is just like y'all. Just going to the racetrack when we was kids.
With Aunt Linda. And,
Yeah.
Yeah. They used to ride. Yeah.
Eating chicken in
Not that I'm-
the infield and
No,
running around. No, I know. I remember. Yeah.
They had,
When-
a,
when
they had
you
a
was
paddock and
When you was 10 or 11 years old, who'd you pull for? Did you pull for the MC Anderson car or the penny car? Right?
Right,
Because
yeah.
that's all part of it.
Yeah.
It's like, was all still one big corral.
Well,
Yeah.
we'll give the background of that after.
but no, just going and just like y'all just
Yep.
y'all can't sit there and say what was your first race.
Well, no, I know, but
You know what I mean?
we do have early memories, but
Probably
yeah,
I guess probably going to maybe like Rockingham when you was a kid,
Yeah.
and you know they had the paddock and everything there, and you could play in the playground and all that stuff, or going to Martinsville, or
well, going to Rockingham as a kid, remember going to Victory Lane and they'd have all them plastic roses over the winter circle, and you get in there, and everybody's trying to get as many as them plastic, them roses.
And where was it, the racetrack where the playground was right there coming off four? That
That was
Darlington?
Darlington.
I
Yeah.
mean, we were out there in the
Yeah.
car. No wall. And they all parked down there because
You kind of had to run a little bit on the
Yeah.
apron. I
Yes.
think they did that on purpose.
them stands is probably still
let's
there.
get ready to cover these youngins.
If you need, you got thirsty, you run over to the score stand and swipe the Coca-Cola from the cooler.
You can go to Martinsville and it was still grass in there.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you can play football in there if you.
Yeah.
And we all did.
And everybody put their open trailers down there on the other side.
Yeah,
of the
yeah.
fence
They
down.
put them in
Yeah.
the corners.
Yeah.
My gosh, that's some memories, ain't it?
Yeah.
And Daytona, summer Daytona was always great memories because you and Trent would always come.
Yeah, they would.
That's kind of how we
Stay at the
stayed-
motels
yeah.
and
Yeah, we always lived. Me and Trent lived in South Carolina. We moved to South Carolina when I was probably second or third grade, and then we would we'd always go to. They'd pick us up
on the way to Daytona.
on Daytona, and then we just didn't come back till like the end of August till it was time to start school.
But I remember, like I said, we growed up together a little
Yeah.
bit. Then y'all got gone, but then we'd
Yeah.
always see you at Daytona,
Yeah,
and we'd hang out down there. And
yeah.
then y'all started, like I said, as you got to be teenagers, y'all would come up and stay some couple weeks
Yeah.
with Linda and Richard,
Yeah,
and y'all would come over to shop and work.
yeah. We'd come over and shop. Probably when we was old enough to do something.
so
Sweep the floor for Dale.
what year you started working for the Petties when?
Heck,
Did you start
Well,
somewhere
you're
else before
officially getting a paycheck.
Yeah.
I guess is
Truck
where he's
team,
trying to
right?
go.
The truck team was probably my first full
that?
time.
Where did you work
96.
before there?
96.
Well, I was in college a little bit.
Okay.
Piggly Wiggly in Darlington.
Holy moly.
The Budweiser distributor in Florence.
Yeah.
Now I helped my grandfather Kirkman. You know, he kind of built houses and remodel stuff, and I would help him on the side when I was going to school. And then
So you come from two carpenters.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
Mr.
Both
Owens.
my
Yeah,
grandfathers.
that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, probably if I never would have done racing, I'd probably done something
Yeah.
along that lines.
For sure.
Yeah. He was more into. He helped a guy out of Rockingham. I think his name was Claude Smith or something. But they built a lot of shopping centers like Winn-Dixie's. And remember the Western Sizzlings?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
They built them, so he built all that stuff. But he could build a house. He built the house. He built Richard's house.
What's where Mark's at? Didn't you build that?
Mr. Kirkman,
Him and
Mr.
Leonard.
Owens both.
Oh, the new house over in All's
Yeah,
Providence
yeah,
Church.
yeah,
Yeah.
both of them built
Yep.
it.
Well, I knew
Yeah.
Mr. Owens had a lot
Yep,
to do with it,
yep.
but I didn't realize
Yeah.
your grandfather
That's kinda
Kirkman was
neat.
in on it. Yep.
Yep. But no.
See, we learn something every day
So-
here in the Chiefs pit.
So we kind of moved to South Carolina, and I still had friends down there back in them days. You had people that raced, and my buddies, so we'd go race with them, like
Good.
street stocks or late
You
models.
go down to Florence I-95.
Yeah. Myrtle Beach, stuff like that. And
Dylan,
then-
was that one?
Nah, it wasn't open then.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it's down there now. Yeah, but so then you kind of went to college, and you had part-time jobs, like I said, and
Yep.
and then but the truck deal was really my first time. I was 22. That was probably my first.
You was that young then?
Yeah,
Wow, I thought you.
Well, I mean, that was really my first paying gig with Richard.
Was the
was
truck
working
deal?
on the truck
Yeah.
team.
Yeah.
Other than that, was just helping out
And
like
that-
y'all around. the
Yeah.
That was a
shop.
Craftsman truck deal
Yeah.
back then, yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
man, wasn't that a lot of fun? We had some good
Oh,
memories.
yeah.
I told you a while back. I says, however many years we've been in racing, all them memories revert back to. We didn't realize how much fun we had.
Yeah, we thought that was the beginning. It was
Yeah.
going to get better, and that was the best of times.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
And we
Yeah.
always said, well, we won't go cup racing and all
Yeah,
that stuff.
yeah.
That was a good deal.
Oh, we had a lot of good times with that deal.
Yeah.
And the first year, '96 was Bickle, and then it was Hensley, and then it went on to Steve Grissom and a few. But them first 2 years, about
And Mark,
97, that was pretty
bleeding off
awesome.
on that driving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we did it all together. It was,
Yeah.
That
But
was the
I
fun
always thought
part.
it was pretty cool when they came out with the pit stops in that deal,
Yeah, was.
and us three was out of
part of it. Yeah.
out of the 5 or 6 people, that half of us was
Well, we've talked it. We,
family. You know what I mean?
but we've talked
And I
it-
thought it was pretty good. At
but
it.
we've talked about that
Yeah,
when
we
they
did
first
all
went to
out,
live
yeah.
stops. When they first went to live stops, that 43 was heads over heels better than everybody because
Yeah.
Jimmy would come in and pick up 2 or 3 spots every time, wouldn't he?
Well, we was lucky enough to have cup experience.
Oh yeah.
Be real.
Yeah, it was,
No, I mean,
it was
yeah.
a lot of fun.
Timmy had been practicing for 25 years. He's ready for
Yeah.
But the best thing about it is we went up here to the Chrysler barn that one day and practiced, and it was like, all right, here's the 6 people that go on the road. You can figure out what you're gonna do.
Yeah,
It wasn't-
every one of us was going to
Yeah.
be on the pit crew, just who
Yeah.
did what.
Right.
Yeah,
That's about
Now
the
the-
size of
yeah.
it.
the little
So-
the little backstory to that was the Craftsman trucks. The first year they'd have halftime stops, so everybody would come in and they'd give them about 10 minutes. You could change the tires and you could put gas in it or whatever. Travis is talking about going live pit stops. I guess that happened in '97, right?
Somewhere in there.
Somewhere.
It was mid-season, I know that.
It was a mid-season. I don't even remember why they done it. I can't even remember.
We picked up the pace that year.
Yeah, it helped us. It got
Oh,
us
yeah.
Oh yeah, give you a lot of top 10s and a lot of top 5s.
track. Yeah,
Track position, yeah.
track position was.
Yeah. So after the trucks, where did you go to work?
I came up here to Love Cross.
You come to 43, 44,
I worked on the
45.
44. Buckshot was running. Actually, in between that, we built a bush car for Grissom for Steve to run Daytona with.
Okay.
And then that was only a 1 race deal, but that was out of Adam's shop over in Thomasville.
Okay.
And then
I didn't even know that.
Well, I knew he wouldn't run a race, but I didn't know you was a part of it. I don't know how I missed
me and
that.
Bryant Frazier worked on that, and then I think me and Bryant come over here and worked over here in Love Cross after that, and we ended up about mid-season. I started traveling with I think it was the second Pocono. Started traveling with the 44 car, and then stayed there till the 44 car ended, and then went to the 43, and then stayed here till they moved to Mooresville, and then when they moved to Mooresville, I probably worked a month and took a job at DEI.
Hmm.
And
And that's where you was able to win Daytona 500, the
yeah,
Brickyard.
well, it was DEI.
That was Ganassi.
Yeah, but
Okay,
that-
Ganassi.
Well,
He'd already won the
DEI was kind of got
Was it
merged with
Ginn? Was it
Ganassi.
ever Ginn racing then, or is that always?
It
Ginn?
already been Ginn when I.
Oh, okay.
But it merged with Ganassi.
So you got to kiss the bricks in Indy.
Yeah.
Travis has actually been the car chief on the oval track
No,
and
I just worked on the oval
okay,
track.
worked,
What I-
on the oval track and the road course.
Well,
Yeah, the road
I was
course,
just
yeah.
I was just going to throw this in for that all the petty racing that's come up. These two are the only two that's been to Victory Lane in Indianapolis. Timmy was
Only two
with
to kiss the bricks.
yeah.
Kiss the
So
bricks.
that's
Yeah,
kind of a
that's
neat
pretty awesome.
And
neat
I've-
feature.
And I've been fortunate enough to be part of the road course and
That's
the
right.
oval track.
Well, that's even more interesting.
Yeah, and I thought that was a pretty cool deal.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
But me and Timmy, you talking about working, but after that I worked at Front Row for a year, and then I've been RCR or RCR affiliated car for probably 10 years
Yeah.
now. But me and Timmy's probably worked together off and on for almost 20 years now.
At least, ain't
Just
it?
two different
Yeah.
stages.
Just two different stages.
Well, and
That's a lot of
because
lunches.
you were involved, yeah, because I was with the engine companies with the teams that you won big races with.
And the year I worked at DEI, we weren't in the Highway 3 shop, but we were in the old Ginn building.
Right.
Timmy worked in the highway. That was when they merged the
At the other
engine shop.
place.
And he worked in what? And
Okay,
They
so
worked
y'all
in
was kind of working together. Then
yeah,
just
kind of
kinda
working
different.
together. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah,
That's ain't that awesome?
yeah. So
So fast forward
Yeah.
to now. So we got a project a couple years ago, and it's been ongoing throughout the COVID and all that stuff. But we got the '74 Daytona 500 winning car. Supposedly Richard Petty's winning his car, and I got to thinking about it, and we all got together and realized that Travis's daddy had worked on that car.
yeah,
And I called Travis and said, "Hey, would you be interested in helping?" So you've been helping us do that for gosh,
What-
it's been a year or better.
it's almost probably almost 2 years to the day, almost
Off and on.
off and on. Yeah, we
With life
What back
moving.
in the summer, Travis showed up and he had the notebooks of what Randy had, all the setups and stuff off that car.
from those cars.
Didn't he?
yeah, my talking about the toolbox.
Yeah.
You know, my granddaddy saved his toolbox and his tools and kept them out there in the shed. And probably when me and Trent was old enough to have tools, or he thought we were, he gave us the toolbox. And then as you go through it, and I found this single subject notebook one day in there.
Yeah.
And it had all the writings of where he had put the car together, or helped put the car together, and he wrote down what I had. I guess when you go back for your next time, so I think I had notes on how it went together for what do we have, Riverside,
It was a
Daytona,
And that's
North Wilkesboro.
that's just amazing that it's been sitting
But
there.
we've actually
and
been
you run
looking at
across
it.
it. Yeah.
But then that day I brought the notebook in. Richie went in the closet and brought the notebook out for the motor we were going to put in it.
It had
with
the dyno sheets and
dyno
all that we
sheets.
saved
That's
all these
crazy.
years. So
Yeah.
we got the full records of that car. So yeah, that's we've had some good times, ain't we?
Yeah, but no, when Timmy called me, I guess it's almost 2 years. It was I've been working at Jermaine, but Jermaine was going out of business, and I was just going back to RCR, and but we're going to travel anymore, and
Which was still right there on the same.
we're same campus. We're right there in the same deal, and he said I had this project, and I said, man, I'd be interested in doing it, and
So we're still doing it.
we're still doing it, and we're getting close to having it done.
Well, as we
We can see daylight now.
yeah, and
That's right.
as they start putting it back together, we may start putting some filming out a little bit.
We're getting
The
closer
progression
to
of
that.
that.
Yeah, actually, Timmy's got the engine done. He's held up his end of the bargain.
Well,
I've been a little slow.
it's
on the
still,
car
it's yeah. We'll get there.
Yeah.
It's coming together.
Yeah, but it's been cool. I think we've got the word got out that we kind of had the car. I think some of the older people's come by, and
Oh yeah, that's what
that's probably
started.
been one
People
of the coolest parts is the older.
that,
Oh, yeah.
that worked on that
They worked
car
on
as well.
it.
Billy Bisco and them guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
Joe Milliken.
And they kind of gave you kind of little stories
Which
about
we
the car.
were trying to decide if Joe possibly drove that car some because they run that car up till 1977.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Joe driving it like in the sportsman.
In the
yeah,
sports
we
car.
think it might be that
Yeah.
car, but I don't know.
And then he won Talladega in that car,
You
right?
went to
I
Talladega
think
and
so.
Daytona, right?
That was the 04 Hayes Jewers car.
And with the big STP
Yeah.
on it and the whole
Yeah.
deal. So
Yeah. Had the Falcon or
yeah,
yeah, something like that.
And then
Yeah, I know that car's got a lot of history. We know that.
and it's just.
But we found the tag. Remember when them first week or two we was working on it, I found a tag under it, and
It was
I
built
was-
in '72.
it was built like
chassis.
2 weeks before I was born.
Yes.
Like the chassis.
No kidding.
So it's older than you.
Yeah, it's older than me. Yeah.
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
Yeah, shout out Travis's 50th birthday coming up Monday. Happy birthday.
Happy
to
Who
you.
birthday.
also shares a birthday with our mother,
Yes.
Yeah.
Patricia,
December
Yeah.
5th.
But happy 50th, Travis.
happy 50th.
Thank you.
Many, many
Here.
more.
Here's to you.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, I guess we got a drink.
That's good.